Well, hello there, and welcome to Coffee with Kathleen. This is a place where we're going to talk about what's good. We're going to share new ideas, and we're going to explore leadership journeys. In some cases, maybe my own, but also those of other professionals here in the automotive industry. And we're going to do this in about the time it takes to drink your morning cup of coffee. So, of course, as you already know, I work for RepairPal. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here. So this wouldn't be a possible podcast without the support of my incredible team. So I'll also be sharing with you wins and other things, triumphs that we have from time to time. So I have some big news to share with you today, which also dovetails into our special guest for today. And that is that RepairPal has crossed the threshold. We're over 3,500 repair facilities and our network nationwide. And the reason why this is a big deal is because these repair facilities are really super high quality. And so we have built this network one location at a time. We evaluate every location individually. And so to help me celebrate this and to share space in this inaugural podcast is today's very, very special guest. And by the way, I am recording this from my living room. So you are occasionally also going to hear from my all-time special guest, which is my dog, Bobby, who's currently barking about something. But in any case, my special guest today is a shop owner, a RepairPal certified shop owner who's relentlessly focused on her customers because she understands the place that auto repair plays in her community. So she has been a shop owner of the year. She's been AAA Gold Shop of the Year. Her local community honors her as Reader's Choice. She's out of Inglewood, Florida. And because of her passion and drive, both she and her business have grown by leaps and bounds. On a human level, she is a sparkling, witty, intelligent, kind, and extroverted sister from another mister. And big surprise, she's also Kathleen. So please welcome Kathleen Callahan from Xpertech.
Hello.
Hi.
I am so excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you here. And now this isn't just coffee with Kathleen. It's coffee with two, which I think is amazing. So cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so what's on this cup of yours?
Okay. So this was a gift from my hairdresser.
Okay.
Because I am known locally, my nickname is Big Deal. And so just so you know, I'm kind of a big deal. So
well, and also a pun. So that is perfect. My mug is an owl because I drink owl the coffee all day long. My cup is also a pun. It's also got the signature lipstick mark. That's how you know it's mine.
Exactly. This one I generally keep at our local coffee shop. So I had to fetch my personal barista to go get it for me because people try to buy it. And she made me a really nice oat milk latte before we started recording, so it's nice and fresh. So.
I love that. So personal barista, is that one of your keys to success?
I think it's something that I've added for this occasion, and I may continue. I've created a whole new skill set for her to have to do it on site. So.
Well, that's good. Always building skills, whether it's in your personal barista, your family members, or your staff, or whatever.
Exactly.
So, what do you think right now are like the really important, habits that you have, sort of on a daily or weekly basis that are contributing to your overall success?
I would say the one big culture piece that I have within my business, and I was chamber president last year, and I do this with my children, is to educate and empower the people around me to do what it is that they're supposed to be doing. Be the best student for my children, or be my best service advisor or my technicians, and really give them the tools and enable them to be empowered and to successfully perform whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. So,
well, that's important. And so how do you, so how do you engage around that as a company? Do you have like, set number of meetings? Have you carved out time for specifically for training, or what does that look like in a day-to-day?
so I will tell you, training has been really difficult in the shop environment since the pandemic. We're just starting to see in-person trainings come back to us. So I feel personally like you get way more out of an in-person training than you do in an online training environment, except you can't do it on your own time. So I always give my technicians, especially, the opportunity to do any kind of online training and really encourage um, the newer technology. We have an ADAS calibration system here in the shop now. We just got it in January. So that's been interesting, I guess is a good way to put it. It's been a fun challenge. Some of my one tech loves new tech and wants to know all about it. So hybrids and not fully electric really, because we don't see a lot of it yet in our market. But service advisor wise and front of the house, we touch base with each other with each other 2 or 3 times a day. I would say when I'm in the building, and I would say probably once a day when I'm not. So
Wow. Yeah.
I try to always be available, but they really, I have a seasoned staff. They've all been here a really long time. They prefer when I don't show up. So.
Yeah. So how is that for you? Because in the beginning, I feel like when you're first starting a business, you want to be kind of all over everything. And I find that's the case for me too, is trying to make that balance. So, at RepairPal, we'll start something new. And then I'm like, oh, this is a very new initiative. I need to be more involved in this, where, these other things maybe we've done for a while are kind of humming along over here. I have a great staff as well. You met a couple of them earlier before we started here. But, I think then there's this sort of giving people enough space to feel like they can own, whatever the new things are. Like you mentioned, in your environment, that's the ADAS machine. Which, by the way, I've heard that those things are incredibly finicky. So I was visiting actually Caliber Collision, and they were showing off some of their machines, and they were explaining how they have to be on perfectly level ground, how even just these, being off by, fractions, things that I normally wouldn't worry about in my everyday life actually can tamper with the ability for those machines to correctly calibrate vehicles, things like that. So
it is, and every car manufacturer, it seems, is really, really different. One experience that we had actually while we were in Palm Springs, I got a video from my tech. We did an AC hose on a Honda, and the sensor in the very front bumper just got bumped 1/8 of an inch, probably not even. Car had to be fully recalibrated. But now you move that in a Nissan, and it's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be recalibrated. So by make and manufacturer, it's extremely different what kind of space you need, how much things need to be recalibrated, how much adjustment room and wiggle room you have. So it'll be very fun, I think, to see how that technology develops over the next couple of years as well. So.
yeah, I mean, and look, many modern cars, it's hard to work on them now without doing a recalibration, particularly if there's any, there's so many sensors and cameras on the car now that lots of repairs that need ADAS calibration. Currently, there was a study done that probably like 80% of the time where cars are supposed to be calibrated, they're not being calibrated. And so I encouraged about a couple of years ago in an industry update I did, I encouraged our independent shops that don't have either the setup for that, because again, you've got to have the space and the level ground and an experienced technician and all of these things, to partner with someone who does, because you want to send your customer back out on the road safely. You want to complete the repair correctly, so that the safety systems that are supposed to keep them out of jeopardy on the road are functioning correctly. And look, I think we're also thinking about this whole new generation of drivers that's not going to be capable of even operating a car without those systems. I mean, not to age us, Kathleen, because we are forever young.
Yes.
But my first car was a manual transmission. So I learned to
Yep.
drive in a stick shift. It certainly, not only did it not have any safety features, but it occasionally backfired and did other interesting things,
Yes.
Sometimes you'd have to roll it down a hill to get it started, this
Yes.
kind of stuff. But we want to put our kids in really safe vehicles. My son doesn't know how to park a car without the backup camera.
Exactly. It's funny that you say that. So my older daughter uh, has a Hyundai Kona. I think it's a 22. So she got in an accident. Somebody rear-ended her last year, and so her car was in this shop for, I want to say, about a month while they were fixing the rear tailgate and recalibrating and all of that. She lives in Tampa, and so she had a rental car that didn't have like lane departure, and it didn't have a lot of the safety features and stuff. I mean, it had a backup camera, but it was a little bit older of a car because at the time the rental fleets hadn't really come up. We all got affected by COVID, right? So she called me and she's like, "Mom, I never realized how much better of a driver those safety systems make me. The little beeping when she kind of veers towards the line, it really does teach them to be a better driver." And we're working as an industry towards completely driverless vehicles, right? And so this is how we're going to get there. But you're right, educating the regular shop owner out there that I was surprised. I walked into 15 shops in 2 days after we were trained and ready to go, and just kind of talked to them, said we had the equipment local, body shops, glass shops, and regular mechanical, right? So, because think about it, one of your customers, maybe many customers don't, but several of mine will be driving down the road and they hack the passenger mirror off, and we're replacing those. Well, they have sensors. If it's bird's eye, that thing's got to be recalibrated. They didn't even know that there was a thing that had to be recalibrated with it. So really educating our general shop owner and staff on these safety systems, because if I put that mirror on and it's not calibrated and something happens and they cause an accident, perhaps because of the lack of calibration, because the car can't see where it is, that shop is going to be liable for that because they didn't perform the proper repair. And we are all professionals, right? So this is another one of those snowballs that to protect people from liability and really to protect our consumers and ourselves. It's something that I would like to be in the forefront of. So, and you can't do it all, right? I can't go full electric, so ADAS was the way for me to go. So.
Yeah. And you have to pick and choose, obviously for the area that you're in, what's going to end up being right for your business, right for your community. I mean, the fascinating thing for me is that, RepairPal is a national or nationwide company, but the businesses that basically power our service, our shops, and, now we have some certified dealers as well, are hyper local. So you're operating within your community and your community environment, and what the demands are, what the needs are for the people that you serve, and you've got to adjust your business accordingly. So it's always fascinating. It's different everywhere. I talk to somebody from Ohio. It's going to be different from somebody in Florida, different from someone in California or whatever. So
Agreed.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So in terms of you, so I was really excited to see you speak at Women in Auto Care this year.
Thank you.
Members, yes. And it's my first time. I don't know if you've done like other, speaking gigs there or whatever, but it's my first time seeing you speak, and you're an incredibly dynamic speaker. So how was that for you, and sort of what's coming up ahead on your sort of speaker circuit, or how do you think about your career sort of, now that you've got this seasoned staff and all of that, how do you think about how you can show up for the industry, and what are your plans there?
So currently, because I have 53 tabs open in my head at one time, so I can't sit still. So the less I am necessary in the day-to-day operations of the shop, I've had to find things to fill my time. And I can only do so many facials and massages and eat so many bonbons on the couch, right? So I did that for about 18 minutes and then I got bored. So I'm a coach with one of the coaching companies. I don't know if I can say who it is or not, but
no, feel free.
So I'm a coach with Repair Shop of Tomorrow, and we have mostly Napa Auto Care centers like myself, and really are trying to grow the knowledge and success of the industry through coaching and teaching people how to really manage their numbers and to partner them with and teach them really how to use all of these fantastic programs like RepairPal to their advantage, right? I mean, everything comes with a cost. So how do you justify that cost? And if you're not using it, it's a waste. So not only do we teach people how to manage their KPIs and what numbers to look at, but how do we work well with a RepairPal, with a Kakui, with whatever your DVI program is. And how do you bring that entire wheel together and make it all work in sync with each other? So that's been a great passion for me. But I don't like the word but my big goal is to be a keynote speaker. I said to Sharon Washington when we were at Women in Auto Care this last time, what's your goal? My goal is to take your job. So I would love to be able to encourage and uplift people in whatever way. I haven't quite figured out the message yet, but some form of educating. And I'm one of the people that can deliver a eulogy rather than be in the box. So why not use that gift, right? I know you understand because you pretty much killed it with your speaking as well at Women in Auto Care. I was moved. So maybe we'll team up and really just kill it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was thinking there's something to this. Why does it have to be a keynote speaker, right? It could be,
right?
It could be the duo. And I think, when we come from different aspects of the industry, which is also something I think that makes for good keynotes and, obviously introducing and keeping energy, hype woman type stuff.
Yes.
Between the different sessions and things like that, I think is important. But I think you coming from, more of a technical shop focused point of view, you have something really unique to offer. So I would love to see that for you. I think that's totally within the realm of possibility. And yeah, look, I didn't do as much speaking in my first, several years at RepairPal, webinars here and there, or things like that. But, I took on business development probably, oh my gosh, I lose track of time. I want to say it's like 4 years ago or something, 3.5, 4 years ago. And then I was like, I need to be more visible because now I'm not just, but I'm not doing the operational pieces on the back end by themselves. Now I have an obligation to the company and to the people I work with to be more visible. And what I found is actually people are craving content, right? Yeah. And on a number of different dimensions, which is the whole point actually of this new podcast, right? Is not just to drink coffee and talk with my friends, although
that is pretty fun.
It's a good perk, speaking of coffee, it's a good perk.
I love the fun.
Yes, but it's also because, really connecting people with things that are going to make them successful also really is meaningful to me. And my son is an actor, and he comes about that, I think, pretty naturally. Probably if someone earlier on had paid me to do, some kind of comedy routine or some other thing, then I'd be on a totally different life trajectory. So I love writing and I love, standing in front of people and speaking. And actually, the larger the audience, the less nervous I am, which sounds
agreed.
Weird. Yeah,
agreed. I feel 100%. I got the last minute opportunity to introduce one of the speakers at the Napa Expo in July in Vegas. And it was Sarah Thomas, the first female NFL official. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, sure. I just got to read the bio. I'll stand up there. She'll come up. It's all good. Easy peasy, right? You answer field questions at the end. Done. I don't need prep work, right? Yeah, I'll do this.
Yeah.
There were 1,200 people in the first session. And I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess you're going to wing it. And she was nervous. And I said to her, she goes, should I be in the back? Should I come up to the front? I don't know. I said, well, her daughter was there. I said, do you trust me? Like, I'm going to make it fun. Do you trust me? Do you mind? And she's like, no, okay. So I read her bio and I was like, okay. And although she looks like a runway model, if you've ever seen this woman, she's like 27 feet tall and slim and blonde, and she's stunning. She's got a Southern accent. She's from Mississippi, so add that to it, right? And but she was nervous because she's human like the rest of us, right? And I said, okay, so she's not used to a runway, but she is used to a football stadium. So if everybody from the back to the front could stand up and keep doing the wave until this woman makes her way up here, that would be really appreciated. And it would be a great way to welcome her. And they did. I couldn't believe it. So, but I feed off of that kind of energy, right? And again, to see, I didn't start my life in automotive. When my former husband and I bought this place in '03, I didn't even know how to spell carburetor. I was in bottled water. I did not know.
Do you know how to spell carburetor now? Should I tell
you? I do. I don't know how to fix one. I really barely know what they look like because they're irrelevant. But yeah, so when we divorced in '09, I spitefully said, I'm going to buy you out. And 3 days later was really terrified because I didn't know what I had done. And I didn't know how to do what I had said I was going to do. And my mouth was a little bit bigger than my britches, I guess, or the other way around. But you know what? I reached out and I learned. And so that's really where my passion for all of this comes from, is if I can cut that learning curve down even this much for the next person, then my goal is fulfilled, right? Because I want to see everybody successful. And it was really hard back then because there weren't a lot of women, right? So it's definitely a passion for me, for women, but for all shop owners and all people in the industry. So definitely meeting incredible people with the energy like you that are on the other side of, on the vendor side of things. It really kind of brings it all full circle, right? It completes the circle. Like, it's not just this side, it could be that side. So that's part of the passion of it, is really being able to show people how fantastic the automotive industry can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what they say, or I don't know if they say this, but I do, which is, you're on a dirt road and you encounter a pile of rocks. There's two things that you can do with those rocks. You can, pick them up and throw them at the people who are behind you on the trail, which is what some people do because they want to finish first, or they feel like, the only one person can succeed. It's a scarcity mindset. So they throw rocks and they thought, well, I had to overcome these rocks. Other people should have to pay their dues and overcome the rocks as well. Or you can use them to pave a path so that somebody else can walk a little bit more easily, right? And they don't have that same thing, which is what I think also we've done with our children, right? As we've tried to pave their paths so they don't have to make the same mistakes we do, although they sometimes choose to anyway.
Yes.
Because they don't listen. But yeah, no, I think I think that yeah, I mean, that's one of the most amazing contributions we can make, and that's out of our own experience. So I'm happy to be on the same journey with you, and I do think that there are more places where you and I could probably team up and figure things out. So maybe we should do this regularly, with or without the camera.
Yes, we definitely should. Now we've now made this public, so we're accountable now, right?
We're accountable. Yes, we've said it. You heard it here, announced here.
So I do have to say,
the K2 partnership.
Not so it's 23. So in March of 2022, we did these goals, and I flashed them really fast because. But on here it says connect with Kathleen Long, and yes. So it says it actually in 3 different spots on this tiny little piece of paper. So, but I keep this, and I keep, it keeps getting shuffled under papers, and I put it back on the top of the pile to remind me how special all of these connections are, and obviously how fabulous you are, and what a value I have to having this friendship and the connection with you, and now getting to have coffee on camera with you. So.
Yes, good stuff. Well, I think we're probably nearing the time where other people are finishing their coffee as well. But this has been really inspiring for me, and hopefully for, the millions of people that I'm sure are going to be watching.
Millions. I love it.
Millions of people. So love you truly. Thank you so much for coffee with Kathleen's today. And look, we've got to make that card come true. You're such a powerhouse. So I will definitely be connecting with you outside of this very soon.
Sounds perfect. Thank you so much. And it has been a delightful coffee date.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.